Kombucha. What is it? So kombucha is actually a fermented sweet tea drink. It's naturally carbonated and is fermented by a combination of yeast and bacteria called a SCOBY. A SCOBY is actually an acronym that stands for a symbiotic culture or colony of bacteria and yeast. Now, what must have happened at the very beginning before people were handing out SCOBYs to all their neighbors to make kombucha is that black tea or green tea and sugar sat around long enough and there was the correct proportion and infusion of bacteria and yeast in the air that infused with the tea, and then gradually, after all the sugar was eaten up, formed a SCOBY sitting at the top of the tea. And then every batch that just gets bigger and bigger and creates more layers upon this mat of yeast and bacteria. So kombucha is actually thought to have originated in China around an area now known as Manchuria in about 220 BC and was later imported to Japan for its health benefits. Now, why would you want to drink kombucha? Why would you want to drink a fermented sweet tea versus just a regular sweet tea? Well, the benefits are said to range anywhere from weight loss to cancer. Kombucha contains something called acetic acid, which is also found in apple cider vinegar, a very common weight loss product. So the acetic acid is one of the reasons that people say kombucha actually does help a lot with weight loss. Now, cancer is a big one, and obviously it's a very big claim to make, but basically studies have shown that the component that is also found in kombucha, called glucaric acid, may be beneficial in fighting against cancer. Joints. How does kombucha help with joints? Well, there's a very common supplement that is sold in the health food stores called glucosamine and chondroitin, and kombucha actually has glucosamines within it, which help relieve inflammation, increase hyaluronic acid production, and the promotion of collagen building, all of those helping joints. Digestion. Kombucha helps with digestion because probiotics. All fermented foods, which I love, contains probiotics, and also a lot of times enzymes that help break down your food as well, thus aiding in digestion. Immune health. How does kombucha help with immune health? Well, this one I'd automatically peg to probiotics and enzymes, but actually science suspect that the main immune boosting benefits of kombucha are actually in an antioxidant known as DSL, which isn't found in regular black tea alone. It does have to be the fermented kombucha. So that DSL antioxidant along with vitamin C are actually supposed to be the main immune boosting properties in kombucha, which I found interesting. Energy. How does kombucha help with energy? Well, iron, B vitamins, and a little bit of caffeine left over that the SCOBY did not eat. I love me some kombucha for a little bit of energy midday, little pick-me-up. A controversy surrounding kombucha actually has to do with alcohol. People are worried that it may in fact be alcoholic. It was pulled off store shelves in Whole Foods, I believe, a few years ago because it had an increased alcohol content beyond what they thought it had. So here's the thing with kombucha. You can control how much alcohol is in it by how long you ferment it. And if you actually make it properly, so say 10 days for your first fermentation, no more than that, and then a few days for your second fermentation, you're never going to have more than about 1% of alcohol. It's usually about 0.5% of alcohol in the entire batch of kombucha. So if done properly, you never have to worry about alcohol. But again, that's within your control. If you decide to leave it a lot longer than recommended, then it's going to have more alcohol in it. Now that said, all fermented foods, it has to be known, contain a small amount of alcohol. That's just the nature of the beast, and it's not going to get you drunk. Another thing I hear against kombucha, not as often as the alcohol thing, but is sugar. How much sugar does kombucha actually have? How much am I drinking? Well, sugar is actually there not to make kombucha sweet so much as it is for the SCOBY to feed off of. Unfortunately, there is no way to make a sugarless kombucha, but be comforted in the fact that remaining in about an 8-ounce glass of kombucha, you're only going to have about 2 or 3 milligrams of sugar after the SCOBY has eaten most of it. And by contrast, just for some comparison, orange juice in that same amount, about 8 ounces, has about 120 grams of sugar. So you're actually not left with very much, and you do not need to worry about it. So let's talk about the cost breakdown. Making versus buying. I have never bought kombucha cheaper than $2.50, and typically when I buy it, it ranges anywhere from $3 to $4. Ridiculous. I have no idea how they get away with charging that much. Maybe it's the glass bottle is the most expensive part of the product because kombucha is so cheap to make. Say you have a gallon of water, 8 tea bags, and a cup of sugar. Okay, that's your typical kombucha recipe, depending on how much you want to make, of course. So you take that, divide it into 8 bottles, and you have 1 tea bag per bottle and 1/8 a cup of sugar. I don't even know how much that is. Pennies. Because I have a whole box of green tea bags and black tea bags that I bought for a few bucks. So I'd have to go to get the calculator and divide that up. But it is so cheap. And 1/8 a cup of sugar, nothing. Nothing, guys. I mean, it's something. But it's a lot less than $6 for 1 bottle. So the question, how do you make kombucha? Well, I'll get that recipe to you guys as soon as you leave me a comment down below. I'd be happy to get that. Sugar, black tea, water, have it ready. Get a SCOBY from a friend, order one on Etsy, order it on Amazon. You can get live ones all day long. And then I'll get your recipe going and we'll make kombucha together. Thanks for watching.